Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon, and this is the EAC Show, coming to you from sunny South Florida. I'm joined by Marcus Mack on the sound.
Yo.
Omar Blanco on the video. Emilio Jr.'s in the building. And I got sitting next to me, I got UCF activist, overall sports enthusiast, the big one, Cameron Denton. Cameron, what's going on, man?
How we doing, Emilio?
Good to see you, man. How's everything?
It's good.
A lot on the slate for tonight's show. A lot.
Yes, sir. It should be a packed show tonight.
So why don't you get into the details of what we're going to talk about tonight?
Tonight we're going to jump into the CBA talk, the collective bargaining agreement for the NFL. A lot of information to talk about that. I know
that thing is like a trigonometry test, man. Seriously, like
I know it's a pretty long document of new rules that they want to implement, but a lot of good things I think that should move the league forward from where they're at now. We'll talk a little bit about new NFL free agency rumors. A lot going on there as well. The big names, sort of the back end stuff, where these players might be going. We'll jump a little bit from there. We'll talk about the NBA, just overall, just touching on the NBA, the games last night.
Damn, your Heat lost again, dude.
I know, again. I don't know. We're on some sort of a nosedive. We'll jump back into it when we start talking about the NBA. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but it isn't looking good as of right now, at least. But just the games last night were the first ones after the All-Star break, so we'll just touch lightly on that, what we think before the playoffs start, what's going to happen here. And then from there, we'll talk a little bit about the XFL just to give people a reminder.
Right. So picks are, where they can find it, when they can find the games and what times and stuff like that, just to remind them.
Right, and then we'll finish it off with the big day tomorrow night, which is the boxing match.
Wilder vs. Fury 2, the rematch, February 22nd, MGM Grand, Las Vegas. You gotta tune in. You gotta watch. It's gonna be crazy. I mean, before the show started, when we coming in,
right,
I saw some of the weigh-in, and they were just playing with each other a little bit back and forth. And Wilder's sitting on his girlfriend with his head on her shoulder, and then Fury could see Wilder, and then he started laying on some buddy's shoulder with his leg up on her.
The
same way he was mocking him, like, you know what I'm saying? And then Wilder puts his leg on his girlfriend, so Fury puts his leg on his friend, like, you know what I'm saying? And then Wilder puts his middle finger on his head and scratches his head, you know what I mean? Listen, it's playful, it's cool, but they have the utmost respect for each other.
Yeah, they got a lot of respect for each other. We saw that after the first bout. But these two dudes at the end of the day are showmen. They know how to put on a show and try to get people excited for this, sort of like the MMA.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be really
so
exciting.
I'm extremely anxious for that. But, of course, we'll jump into the first topic here, which is the NFL.
Yeah, NFL talk.
Yep. So we have the new collective bargaining agreement, which, Emilio, you actually know a little bit more on me, at least financially, and what this means for the players. So why don't you jump into that?
All right, so basically what's happening right now is that the NFL players get 46% of compensation when it comes to revenue. They are the lowest in all of major sports when it comes to how much money they get. Usually all the other sports get 50-50. They still haven't gotten to that point. The owners fight so much. So the owners are proposing that they go to a 17-game regular season schedule.
Okay.
Now, players don't want that. They don't want to play more games. They want to be compensated more. They don't have to play more games to be compensated for. But the numbers are staggering if they go to a 17-game schedule, and I'm going to explain. And I can't take credit for this because shout out to Pat McAfee and his show. They literally did all the groundwork. I'm just, reiterating what they told us. And they have more knowledge on it because Pat used to play in the league.
No doubt.
So what's happening is there's, with that 1.5% difference, there is $5 billion that is being shifted from the owners to the players.
Okay.
So if you really do math, which I'm not really good at, imagine how much money the NFL owners are making, that if only 1.5% of that is $5 billion, how much money is that actually?
There's a lot of bread to go around.
It's an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
Then they also want to shift and play more. They want to put more teams into the playoffs, and only give the one seed a bye.
Sort of similar to the MLB. We talked like maybe a week or two ago about the MLB and their proposed plan to expand the playoffs. That's the exact model that they want to use, is to only give the first seed the bye, amp up the wild card, I guess.
I think they want to just get more excitement into playoff games, which is understandable. That's fine, but these are still players putting their lives at risk every snap.
Right, so it's not only one more game with 17 regular season weeks instead of 16. It's also for those playoff teams an extra game, being that they're adding more teams.
Exactly. And then the crazy part about they're definitely trying to do their best to take care of other players as well. So you got practice squad players are going to end up making more money. You got you got minimum what is it called? Minimum veteran minimums going up higher. So
Sure.
instead of making $525, you're going to make $6 and some change. So like that's also increasing as well, which is great. And I think that what the owners are using against the players is almost in a sense like, look, you have to prepare yourself whether we don't come to an agreement that there's a possibility that we have a lockout. And if we have a lockout, you better have saved your money, because if you didn't save your money, you're probably not going to play for a year.
Sure, yeah.
So there's that frightening, scary part of it, because none of these TV contracts, these major TV contracts with NBC, ESPN, Fox, those things haven't been secured because there's no collective bargaining agreement agreed upon. So the owners know that, and they're trying to use that as leverage on the players, and the players understand that too. So this proposed deal has been worked on for the past 10 months.
10 months, yeah.
Yeah, 10 months. So they're trying to figure out whether or not we could hash out a deal, so then we can go to those networks, secure these contracts, and then that's when that big money starts to come in.
I see. Yeah, and to be honest, I was just thinking while you were talking, that would mean the team, well, both teams that play in the Super Bowl this year will play a total of 21 games this season.
That's a lot, man.
It's a lot at the high level of the NFL.
I mean, hypothetically, we had a couple of ideas earlier today with some fan interaction that I was speaking to some fans or whatever, followers of the show, and people made great suggestions. They made great, ideas of what the league should do. You understand? And some of them were sitting there saying, oh, maybe you should do, instead of longer guaranteed contracts, shorter guaranteed contracts for more money. Because all that other money at the end of a contract is just funny money unless you outperform the contract.
Sure.
Then they rip it up and they redo it. Kind of similar to the deal that Kirk Cousins got where his whole joint was fully guaranteed. Mm-hmm. But what I explained to some of the fans is that this is the most violent sport on the planet. And for insurance companies to insure these contracts, the premiums are going to be through the roof. No one's going to want to do that.
Agreed upon. Yeah, that I can see that being the case.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to want to do that. The Lords of London's going to be like, hey, yeah, your premium's like $1.5 million for this, $60 million contract.
Right. Yeah, and I honestly think, you can go negative and positive. It's got its pros and cons, of course, regarding the owners and the players. But I think it's really coming in no better time right now for the NFL, who just completed their 100th season, sort of kick off their second century with a new collective bargaining agreement that will allow for some things. Obviously, there's more bread to be made on the players' behalf. Yeah, their bodies are going to take a little bit more of a beating. But Richard Sherman actually said something that you were telling me about.
Yeah, so basically what happened, it was first it was started off by Jamal Adams, and Jamal Adams basically said, more games means more money for the players, which means we all secure a bag, which is a great way to think of it. But Richard Sherman then tweeted out something of the nature to Jamal Adams, hey brother, give me a call, I really don't think you're getting the gist of it. And then a couple hours later, Jamal Adams completely deleted the tweet. Because I guess what Richard Sherman is trying to say, almost in a sense, this is just my opinion. This is not Richard Sherman's words or whatever it may be. It's like, we're doing this not only for ourselves, but we're doing this for the future players that come after us.
Okay.
So if you're asking us to play more games, you're not only risking our well-being and our health, you're also risking the future's well-being and the future's health. So these guys got to get used to playing 17, 21, whatever, 22 games in a season, which is a lot. Right. It's a lot at the end of the day.
Right.
If you compensate the players, they may look the other way. But if you don't compensate them properly, they're going to fuss about it.
Right. Yeah, especially these older players. Yeah. I can only imagine what Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson are thinking, at their old age, damn, I got to play another one.
And Jeff Saturday earlier today on ESPN stated it, and he said, look, to be honest with you, he's been through CBA agreement discussions, and he said, it gets to you when there's people that are relying on you to get a deal done because it's conducive on if they're going to work. And it doesn't necessarily have to do with the players. It also has to do with staff at the stadiums, concessions, parking lot attendants. All those people are reliant on those games being played. If those games aren't being played, then those people don't have jobs.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot more at stake, not only for the players and everyone involved in the organization, but also as a whole with people working in the stadium, things like that.
I mean, some of these people, I'll give you a prime example. Some of these people, they're well off. You know, Jeff Saturday, he's okay. He's good. Like, you know what I mean? I can take care of myself if we miss a year of football. But what do you say to the person that's making $40,000, $50,000 that works at the stadium, and now that person doesn't pick up the 40 hours, he's taking less hours because there's not football on Sunday?
Right. Agreed upon. Yeah, absolutely. And as far as this CBA agreement and how it's going to be accepted and ultimately agreed upon, the owners actually comprise this agreement, but it's ultimately up to the players to vote to approve it.
Yes, agreed. Yes.
Right.
So basically it gets presented to the players. Their player reps sit there and they say whether or not it's suitable to show to the players or recommend for the players to get it passed. They make that decision. I think it didn't get approved. I think they passed it on to the players' reps, and the players' reps voted 6-5 against it being something that they go forward with. So that doesn't mean that they're not that far off. 6-5, obviously, you can tell there's only one vote off, but I think that it's not that far off. Everybody knows the severity. I don't think it ends up going into a lockout. I think they go back, discuss some few things, give a little, take a little, and get a deal done. Okay,
yeah, because just going off of what you say, it goes right after it goes from the owners, it goes to the players' rep, one from each team. There's 32 agreed upon. It has to pass by a 2/3 motion, and then once it does that, then it goes to the entire NFL players group, and it just needs to pass by an overall simple majority.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine if something were to go wrong and we have another lockout.
Well, you got to remember the last time they were in discussions, they didn't miss a single game.
Right.
They played the games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they know, everybody understands how serious this is.
And some of our listeners, Emilio mentioned last show, giving him a little bit of flack with all the XFL talk. Just imagine if we're not able to get an NFL season
more XFL talk.
More XFL season.
More XFL talk. And listen, we really do pay attention to what you fans say. We appreciate all the support. You know, we DMs, YouTube, all that comments and all that stuff. We try to answer as much as possible. I'm literally wearing blue underneath here because somebody told me I wear too much black on the show. But my body's not shaped properly yet. I'm still working on it, so I'm still gonna wear a couple of black hoodies on this show for sure.
Yeah, shout out Anytime Fitness with the free promo for them.
Yeah, without question.
Now, as far as what we think, our ideas about what a collective bargaining agreement could look like, what would you suggest if you had any changes to make for this CBA? What would you do differently?
Oh, you just put me
on the spot?
No, it's not you put me on the spot, but when you said that to me, I literally just had a thought in my mind of having a drink with Jerry Jones and just talking to him, be like, yo, Jerry, I know you like to party, but the reality of it is, like, let's just be honest. We're the only league that's not 50-50.
Yeah, nice.
You're literally you're squeezing a quarter till the Eagles scream so much on us, like. Let's figure this out. Let's work. Because if we get to that number where we're 50-50, those players would be so happy. It's nuts.
But that's what Jerry Jones is all about. He sips his small batch bourbon and he counts his money.
And
he's not worried about what else other people with their bread is
crazy.
like.
But no, I mean, that discussion would totally be. I mean, to get it done, you got to get close enough to 48. Start driving that needle in that direction towards that 50%, because the players deserve it, man. Without the players, there is no league. Without the owners, there is no league. So it's a 50-50 thing. I don't understand what makes it so hard to realize that.
Right, I agree. And what I would like to see, if they're going to go ahead and move forward with an expanded playoff and ultimately a 17 regular season game season, I would like to see them at least drop the preseason from 4 to 2 weeks.
Listen to me. They're going to do that. I don't think it's the 2 games. They're definitely dropping 1.
Okay.
They're definitely dropping 1.
Because all those meaningless injuries that happen in the preseason, they make you cringe. Like, especially when you pick your fantasy lineup and you do your draft way too early.
That's an amazing thing to say from a fan perspective. From a coach's perspective, a coach wants game evaluation on players because a coach is making a roster to decide what roster is going to give him the best chance to win every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. And the crazy part about it, if you ask, I'm speaking for him, but if you ask Mike Tomlin will sit there and tell you, look, these preseason games give some guys opportunities to show what they can do so they can end up on my team or not.
Well, let them just play the games then, because I'm tired of seeing guys like Jordy Nelson tear his ACL
they don't make enough players on the preseason roster. It's like you have to make cuts after like game 1.
At least don't play your studs. I'm tired. No, there's no reason for OBJ and David Johnson.
But don't complain when you have Odell Beckham and he's not in a rhythm game 1 for your fantasy team neither because he didn't play in the preseason.
I agree with that, but but a part of me also says at OBJ's level, he doesn't need the preseason in order to be in tune with what he's doing in week 1.
He did this year.
Yeah, well, that's a different topic for a different day with the Browns.
This year. So you want to get into this NFL free agency stuff?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about free agency. Did you see the player reactions? I just wanted to end with that.
I did. Yeah. I saw J.J. Watt.
Right.
J.J. Watt said there's no chance.
Just a hard no, he said on the CBA.
No, hard no with the CBA. No chance.
Leonard Fournette disagreeing as well.
I mean, the players are only gonna agree if it's what they want or close enough to what they want. If it's not, they're constantly gonna say no. It's not in their best interest for them to be. I'm saying yes, you're saying no. I'm saying yes, you're saying no. They're all gonna say no, no matter what.
Okay, all right.
Until they get what they want.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I mean, it should be more about the players. That's the thing. I know it's an owners' league when it comes to the CBA.
I'm just flabbergasted by the fact that we don't know how much money these owners make.
I know we'll never know, but that's.
They do such a good job. They're better than They hide their money somewhere in Switzerland in bank accounts. Like what the heck? Offshore accounts in the Caymans or something like.
They're wolves, man. I don't know what you want me to tell you, but
they make a killing.
I know. And as far as the NFL free agency, obviously free agency market opens in early March. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as the weeks come here. But I wanted to touch a little bit about what we're seeing right now. Some rumors. We'll start off with the big one. Mr. Tom Brady, Mr. GOAT, Mr. Six Ring. Emilio, do you have any thoughts on where you think he's going to end up? We talked about it a couple weeks ago, but what do you think?
People are trying to speculate. Tom bought a house in Greenwich. He did this. He did that. Stop trying to be TMZ of Tom Brady. Like, let Tom Brady enjoy Tom Brady life. Like, beautiful wife, beautiful kids. He's Tom Brady, has all these rings. Whatever. Let him be. Let him decide where he's going to go, and then once he decides, report on it all day. We're going to report on it right here once he decides where he's going to go.
Just for the record, Tom Brady's wife has a modeling out here now. He's looking great out here right now.
I understand that, but
I
understand that. No. But as far as, I mean, just letting him make the decision and all that, that's not sports media, man. We're going to be on it. Everyone's going to be on it.
But I'm not, listen, man, I don't expect you to do it either. These guys are going a little bit too far on some of these networks with it. Anything that he tweets, he puts on Instagram. Oh, what does it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah, tracking his private jet, where it's going. Yeah.
Are you trying to detective his post? It doesn't make any sense. Like, let the man live.
Let him live, yeah.
He's gonna make a decision. When he makes his decision, we're going to report on it. We can speculate all day long. If you ask me, until he leaves, he's going to New England.
Yeah, like Jay-Z said, "Can I live?"
Yeah, can I live? He's going. Yeah. He's going to New England. That's for sure. Like that's just what I think. Until he actually leaves and bounces, he's in New England.
So that's your lock. Okay, I like that because here's the team. I want to jump off of that. Here's the teams that have been linked to Tom Brady right now, and it's plentiful. You have the Patriots, obviously, the Chargers that we mentioned a couple weeks back, the Raiders, the Titans, the Dolphins, and the Buccaneers have been quoted as a sleeping giant simply because they have good weapons: Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard.
If I had to choose any of those teams, I choose Tennessee for two reasons. They have King Henry, and no state income tax in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
So that means if he gets $30 million a season, he gets $30 million a season.
Marcus talked about his wife, obviously, and her looks, but she's got her bread. He doesn't need more money with less taxes. With all of his endorsements, this move isn't going to be about money.
Everybody needs more money, sir.
Everybody
needs more money.
Preach on that. Yep. But as far as the rest of the slate here of what the teams and what we also know about the Cowboys and them obviously being a sleeping giant as well. Just Jerry Jones, you never know what he's going to do. So I know he would like Tom Brady, but as far as that,
I mean, I personally feel like Dak Prescott needs to be the quarterback in Dallas. I saw some Tua saying I would rather be I'd rather do. Switch with him and learn or whatever it may be. I don't see that happening, but we'll go from there. Let me just get into this promo real quick. This part of the show is brought to you by ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or deliveries. Enjoy a cafe con leche or natural pre-workout shot of Cuban coffee to start your day. Daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC.
Yeah, so I also want to you see, just like the other show we did on Wednesday night, the live look at what's on the TV here for us. We got Denver OKC.
NBA Friday night, first quarter, 16-15 OKC. And, pretty much.
Jokic has, I think, 11 of Denver's 15 points.
Jokic is like a YMCA player. He got like those sloppy moves, but they work. All of them work.
He's all about just getting ball and hoop. He doesn't care how it looks.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, but as far as jumping back in after the promo, I want to talk about the Cowboys and the direction that they want to go. Obviously, there's sort of eyes on Tom Brady, but as far as this upcoming draft, we saw Tua actually come out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and he said, if I can choose which team to play for, I would tell you the Cowboys. And I can only just imagine. I feel like Jerry Jones had like a stroke when he heard that.
But I mean, he did say that he would come in and learn from Dak, meaning that Dak would still have to be there. So Tua didn't necessarily say he wanted to take over the Cowboys. He said that if he could pick a team he would want to go to, he would go to Dallas, but that he would learn from Dak Prescott. So that means that Dak Prescott would have to be the number one quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I actually have a little scenario that I'd like to play out because Tom Brady is still out there. What if there was a world where where Jerry Jones ships off Dak Prescott and his soon-to-be contract somewhere else? Tom Brady brings Tom Brady and he gives him the money, and then he clears the entire bank account to trade up and get Tua, allows Tua to play under Tom Brady for a season or two, and then it's Tua's show from there on out.
Are you playing fantasy owner now instead of fantasy football?
Maybe, but when it's Jerry Jones, it can be fantasy owner.
I mean,
that's a world that I might want to live in.
The only thing good about Tom Brady playing in Dallas, no state income tax.
Another place
with no state income tax.
So you really have him going to those, and that's of course Florida as well.
Wouldn't you?
Well, of course I would as well. That's one of the reasons why I'm living in Florida. But so you have him at the Dolphins or Tampa Bay also.
No.
Florida's no state income tax.
No.
All right, fair. Jumping off from there, we'll talk about these next couple free agent rumors that I saw before jumping in here. Le'Veon Bell, one of them that plays for your New York Jets, Emilio. The Jets have came out and said that they have not slammed the door shut on Le'Veon. What do you think about that?
I think that Gase and Le'Veon Bell do a good job in public saying the right things, but I think behind closed doors is a totally different story. Mm-hmm. I think Le'Veon wants to show everybody that he's worth the money he got. I think he's worth the money he got. I just don't think that Gase utilizes him very well. And I think Gase tries to save face when he goes in front of, the reporters and stuff like that. And he kind of tells them what he wants them to hear, so there's no tension.
Sure.
But I think Le'Veon Bell's an excellent back. I just think he's being misused. He wasn't being used the right way last year, the way he was being used in Pittsburgh. I understand it's two different systems. It is what it is.
Young quarterback, yeah. And actually, I saw Le'Veon, one of the teams he's linked to in upcoming free agency is actually the Dolphins, who have the most cap space in the NFL.
I think the Dolphins have a good thing going on with their coach, Coach Flores. Coach Flores, I mean, he got those kids. I don't want to call them kids; they're grown men, but he got them to really overachieve this year. He did a hell of a job with, if you want to joke around and say a bunch of XFL players almost in a sense. Like,
yeah.
I mean, practice squad players, guys that he just wanted guys that were going to play for him no matter what.
You felt that the last 6 games of the season that he got as much as he can out of those players as possible. He seems like a real players coach, and that's what's actually getting me excited about watching the Dolphins this year.
Now, Cam, did you notice that, and this was brought to my attention through social media, did you notice that Stephon Diggs deleted all of his pictures on Instagram of him with Minnesota Vikings gear?
I did see that. I don't want to go on a rant, but
I mean, how much more can you put it to the public that you don't want to be in Minnesota?
Listen, Emilio, I have never, as personally and as a football fan, like Stephon Diggs. I think he's a prima donna. It's the reason why I don't like OBJ.
Tell him why you mad, Cam. Tell him why you mad.
The reason why I didn't like OBJ.
Tell him why you mad, Cam. Tell him why you mad.
I'm also a Packers fan, so there's that little bit of angst just against Stephon Diggs and the Vikings.
Tell him why you mad, Cam. Tell him why you mad.
Just stop and just play the game and go with it as you please. Don't start coming out and deleting everything off social media. That's like what with someone that doesn't really have
It's like when
a
you
motive would do.
It's like when you break up with a girlfriend and you just like
and
one,
she deletes
one week
everything.
you're with her,
Right, and it's like, wow, it's like I never even existed.
Where did all these pictures go?
Right. Did I even exist?
1 second you're scrolling through Instagram and you see lovey-dovey, and then next thing you know, you're scrolling Instagram and she's by herself. You're like, yo, where did her boyfriend go?
Exactly, and it's the same situation where the Jets didn't slam the door shut on Le'Veon. They have came out and said they didn't slam the door shut on Stephon Diggs. So how awkward of a morning breakfast is it going to be the first day back when they end up keeping him if that's what they do, and he's got all of his social media stuff deleted?
They already had this accord. I mean, he got fined $250,000 last year. That's a lot of bread. That's a lot of money. $250,000. That's a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah, and that's unfortunately, that didn't stop him from doing these outlandish things, and so hopefully he could shape up. I really don't know where he's going. I know he's linked to the Patriots. Obviously, all these wide receivers, AJ Green, Stephon Diggs. Whenever they come out in free agency, they're always linking them to the Patriots.
But that's
Tom needs another guy. Tom needs another guy.
But that's because these guys are paid already. And they're still really good. I remember that Calvin Johnson was trying to get a move to the Patriots before he ended up retiring.
Right.
The Lions weren't going to let that happen, So, I mean, I understand why these guys want to go to New England because Belichick's a proven winner. Kraft runs the organization correctly when he's not cheating. And, they win rings. It is what it is.
100%. And shout out to the Lions for pretty much seizing the great careers of two of the all-time greats, Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, because they didn't want to ship them anywhere else. They just wanted to keep them on the team.
Slay doesn't want to be there neither. You saw that, right? Darius Slay?
Has Matt Patricia lost the locker room?
No, actually.
People are asking.
No, actually, Matt Patricia was sitting there bragging about how he speaks to his ownership almost every week. So I think Matt Patricia got a lock on that job.
But he speaks to the ownership, but does he speak to the players the way they want to speak?
I think he just finds new players. I think it's just getting to that point over there.
I hear you. So as far as Stephon Diggs, I think that he would actually fit in well, even though I don't like the guy. All said, he's a great wide receiver when he keeps his mouth closed. But if he's on the Patriots, he's actually can be that deep threat to open things up for PPR guys like Mohamed Sanu and Julian Edelman.
Everything changes when you're on the Patriots, though. These guys don't behave the way they behaved where they came from. Remember Ocho Cinco when Ocho Cinco went to the Patriots?
Yeah.
He was quiet as a mouse. Like, you didn't hear anything. Randy Moss? Same exact thing. There was no mooning fans. There was no how you paying for this straight cash, homie. There was none of that. They all fall in line, and they just literally follow Belichick's way.
Yeah, and there's a certain aura when you come into Belichick's office, and I think these players understand. Really, the only player that didn't stay in line was Josh Gordon, but he's got an addiction issue, so that's a little bit tougher than
he likes those
doobies.
ABCs.
Yeah.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he likes those. He likes those.
The marijuana cigarettes.
The THC.
Yeah, he needs to switch to CBD because that potentially can save his career.
Can save his career
and help with his back issues or whatever else that they say on the commercials. But we'll jump from there. We'll talk about a different player here in Derek Carr. Now, this one's actually only viable if the Raiders land Tom Brady. And if the Raiders land Tom Brady, one of the teams that I saw, the main team linked to Derek Carr, was actually the Patriots. So it could be a true swap.
Nah, I don't. In my opinion, I don't see that happen. I don't think. I personally feel like that. Bill Belichick would rather go with Marcus Mariota than Derek Carr.
Wow. Okay. Why do you say that?
I say that because of Josh McDaniels' offense. Josh McDaniels able to do a whole bunch of things when you have a mobile quarterback. I mean, Mariota could get the ball out quick. You'll have different routes that Edelman likes to run in the middle and stuff like that. So I personally feel like I'd rather see Marcus Mariota in New England if Brady leaves than Derek Carr in New England. Because Derek Carr cannot handle Boston. There's, in my opinion, no way.
I don't think he can handle Boston as a city, but I do think that he can flourish on a team with a little bit more stability than the Raiders have. And the Patriots are that kind of team.
If you're inconsistent in Oakland and now Las Vegas, I mean, and the Raiders fans are Raiders fans. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah,
they're real
anywhere
fans.
they
the Black
are,
Hole,
yep.
They're real fans. But
shout out the Black Hole.
Shout out to the Black Hole. But if you can't get it done out there where it's a lot lenient, how are you going to be able to get it done at Gillette, where these guys are ruthless?
Right. They expect
greatness.
Yeah, absolutely.
They expect greatness. Boston sports, You guys are spoiled. You guys win championships with the Bruins. You win championships with the Celtics.
Yeah.
You win championships with the Red Sox. You win championships with the Patriots. I think if you had an XFL team, you win championships with them too. Like, seriously, you guys win Does your minor league... Does the Paul Tuckett Red Sox win championships too?
Yeah, my cousin's got a Little League baseball team up there. They're winning championships as well.
It's nutty.
They just know
how to win. As long as they're not called the Astros, right?
No, yeah, they got a full cheating scandal going on to themselves. But yeah, you're right. I can see Mariota potentially being shipped up to New England. I did also see some rumors that, obviously, I think that the Titans are going to franchise tag Ryan Tannehill, and I can see.
But that way, you can still pay King Henry, right? If they do that.
That's how they're going to be able to pay King Henry what he wants. And I can see Andy Dalton actually coming to Tennessee.
That's another one I can see in New England.
Yeah. In New England as well? Okay.
I can see
you're not too far off there, but I did see some rumors about him going to the Titans, who could be a viable backup for Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill slips up one or two times, he can be in line, and he seems like a Tennessee guy.
Man, all these quarterback free agent talks and the movement and the carousel and stuff like that, it sounds really good, but at the end of the day, I really don't see too many guys moving. I really don't.
Yeah.
I see a couple guys staying where they're at, and then everybody just staying pat.
So you think it's going to be one of those things where we're getting all excited and we're watching all these sports shows about free agency, and then once it comes, it's going to be a dud, just a couple moves?
Look who we're talking about, and we still got Teddy Bridgewater, who we haven't mentioned, Taysom Hill, who we haven't mentioned. I'm trying to think who else. There's another quarterback that we haven't mentioned as well that might switch teams.
Kirk Cousins was talked about.
Like, it's crazy. Like, how many quarterbacks, if the dominoes fall the right way, this person switches here. Jacoby Brissett, is he going to be the answer? Phillip Rivers, where does he go? Like, we have so many quarterbacks to name that, is Jameis Winston going to stay in Tampa Bay? We haven't even gotten to all of them.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and just going off of there, we have a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be in the fold. Everyone said that this year was going to be the year where like you said, quarterbacks are going to be just sort of traveling across the country, and moves are going to be made with these teams acquiring new heads. What are you talking about?
Go ahead. Yeah. And at the end of the first quarter, it's 27-17.
What, the Nuggies?
No, OKC is winning.
OKC is winning?
Yeah, they're winning.
Jokic, dropping pretty much all their points?
Yeah, pretty much.
He's a unit.
He's a big unit.
Another name I saw, actually, just jumping off of quarterbacks here, David Johnson, who I love, at the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know where he's going, but I have a feeling he's not going to be in Arizona next year.
No, of course
say
not.
that because the Cardinals have Chase Edmonds and Kenyon Drake, who both excelled last season. They're both younger. They're both cheaper than Johnson. And I saw, actually, one thing about David Johnson is that he's being linked to Tampa Bay.
Maybe.
And the Tampa Bay's they average.
Kendrick Drake balled once he went to Arizona.
Yeah.
He was balling.
Yeah, everyone balls once they leave the Dolphins for some reason.
I think there was I think he had a 4-touchdown game. He literally broke the safe out, did the little hand gesture, was like, let me secure this bag, put it in my pocket and keep it moving.
He ran straight to the bank. But I'm seeing him, David Johnson, being talked about with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they averaged 3.7 yards per carry last season. And I think Jameis Winston could benefit from an experienced running back that knows they had to catch the ball out of the backfield. I think that's the main reason for a move like that.
Maybe, and I think I think the other running backs they work better with Kyler Murray.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, they work
the
better
younger,
with Kyler,
right, because he's a young, fast guy. You need to match that.
Yeah,
right.
You need to match that, and you want guys that be able to catch the ball out of the backfield and be dynamic, and Johnson hasn't done that consistently in the past 2 seasons.
Okay, agree with that. Now, we'll jump off from there. We'll change subjects here. We'll talk about the NBA. So pretty much completely switching what we're doing here. We just want to touch about last night's game. Obviously, the first games since the All-Star break. But the main thing I want to speak about, and you actually spoke about this in the pilot, not the pilot, but
let me explain something to you. If you guys ever get a chance, if we release that pilot video to this show was so bad, but I was so proud because the test pilot guest person was my 11-year-old son, Emilio Jr. He was my test. He was my guest. I was asking him questions. He was ripping them back off to me. And as a father, I was just so proud to watch him do his thing.
He had a lot of good points on King Henry. He had a lot of good points on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about right now.
Exactly. The Milwaukee Bucks, they have the quietest 47-8 start, I think, in the history of the NBA.
No respect.
Zero respect, and it's because they're in a small market. It's not a sexy place to play basketball. I understand that, but at some point, you need to just call a dog a dog. They're a good basketball team. You need to start talking to them more, give them more respect. I feel like the only teams we're talking about are the two teams out in LA for the finals.
I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo is an animal.
Yep.
He's an animal. Middleton, Lopez, Bledsoe. I mean, these guys are just killing it, and you barely see any coverage on them on ESPN or on TNT. You barely hear them being talked about on The Jump on a consistent basis or on any other program on podcasts or ESPN. Like, they don't really give them the respect that they deserve, and they're just literally running through the league. They are the epitome of what basketball is supposed to look like right now. Yeah. They're playing extremely well. They're not getting the credit they deserve, and it sucks.
Yeah, and they're doing it, Emilio, with Giannis Antetokounmpo playing roughly 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, because they want to keep him fresh for the playoffs.
But the fact that they're able to keep him fresh game in and game out and still be 47-8.
They have quality in their coach. Their coach is not afraid to play their bench.
Yeah. So shout out to them. Keep doing what you're doing.
The frozen Bucks. Tundra of Milwaukee.
Exactly. So you know what? I'm sure that they almost want it the way they have it. Quiet.
Oh yeah, they like it that way.
They'll make noise in the playoffs.
They like it that way, but they know for a fact that it's all about the playoffs.
So now let's talk about some of the teams in the Eastern Conference that you think can take them in the playoffs.
I was going to say your team, because your team was playing well until recent. Your team, what? They lost 5 out of the last 6,
Miami
right?
Heat have lost 5 out of their last 6 games.
I'm not a hater of the Heat. I just want to see good basketball, but they haven't been playing good basketball of late.
Right, they've been hot and cold.
Trey gave them 50 last night.
I know. Trey Young drops a 50 burger on my Miami Heat. In Atlanta. So 5 out of the last, I think we had 5 away games in a row. I'm not making any excuses, but the Heat are supposed to be known as that gritty Heat culture, go on the road and let the defense turn into offense, and we just haven't looked like that the last 6 games.
I saw what Bam Adebayo said. You know, Trey is shooting 30-footers. Like, what do you do with that? Like, You know what I'm saying? But it's still a basketball game. If he's going to shoot from out there, then you have to play defense out there so he doesn't shoot from out there.
Correct. Yeah, you got to match what you're seeing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Another team I think that could put up a fight, really probably the best team I think that could put up a fight against the Milwaukee Bucks is the returning champion of last year, the Toronto Raptors, who have been on a complete tear the last, I would say, 30 games.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been really good. I just hope they don't get hit with the injury bug. Because one injury for any of those teams, them, the Sixers, the Celtics, that could literally wipe out anything, you know?
Yeah.
If Tatum was to get hurt, Kemba Walker, if, you know, for the Toronto Raptors, if Lowry or Siakam was to get hurt, or if Embiid or Simmons were to get hurt, it changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixers, in my opinion, they need to get it together because they just can't play on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And good on the 76ers. We'll talk about them in a second, but good on Toronto for playing this well, even though they lost Kawhi Leonard, who was a top 3 player.
But they were a good team without Kawhi.
They were.
They had DeRozan. They were a good team without Kawhi.
But without DeRozan and without Kawhi now.
Because they're a good team.
Yeah, respect. And they got good coaching. Nick Nurse knows how to coach the team.
Nick Nurse does his job. He does a real good job.
Yep. And as far as the 76ers are concerned,
they just can't win on the road.
They cannot win on a road. Now, I want to stop this right now. We'll jump back into the 76ers talk. But this show is this part of the show, is brought to you by El Cubano Sandwich.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickup and delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or that natural pre-workout, a shot of Cuban coffee to start your day. Daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's elcubanosandwichshop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, promo code EAC. Yeah, so as far as the 76ers and the direction they're heading, they really can't finish games on the road. They have a great home record. I was ready to come in here tonight, Emilio, and absolutely
I remember
them.
We were talking about it last night.
We were watching it live on TNT. I was like, man, I want them to lose so bad so I can rip them tomorrow. They almost were this close away from losing to the Brooklyn Nets at home in Philly, who have no KD, no Kyrie Irving, pretty much Stefan Dinwiddie
Hey, watch
is.
how you talk about my Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, that's right.
No disrespect. I'm talking more so of the fact that they don't have their main guys and that they almost beat the 76ers. I'm more bad talking the 76ers. So I don't really know if they're frauds. I don't really know if we need to be patient on the 76ers. I did see, however, that Embiid said something about social media.
Embiid said that pretty much that he warned Simmons about this early, that the media was going to try to separate them as a duo. And he warned them a while ago, but they don't really have any problems and everything is good between them. And, you know, he loves playing with Simmons and vice versa and stuff like that. So, you know, Joel, he's smart, man. He's a smart dude. He knows what he's doing. He's going to go out there. He's going to give his best effort. And he's expecting the same from everybody else on his team. And I'm pretty sure they know they play bad on the road, and they'll get better. I think they will.
Yeah, I still think he's going to be wearing a Heat jersey next year. But anyway, we'll talk about
everybody's going to wear a Heat jersey to this kid. This kid thinks everybody's going to play for the Heat.
Pat Riley, the Godfather, is getting everyone.
He ain't pulling this one off. So then, now what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the XFL. We're going to get into, just a reminder for the viewers and the fans out there, that, you know, the picks that we have for the weekend, what times are the games, what channels you can catch them on, Cam's picks, my picks, and go from there. So, Cam, with the first game, once again, you can catch the Houston Roughnecks, who I have -6.5, and so do you, correct?
I have Tampa plus 6.5.
Okay, sorry, you have Tampa. I'm sorry. So you have Tampa. I have the Houston Roughnecks -6.5, and that game is 2 p.m. on ABC. Then we got the Dallas Renegades. We're both on Dallas.
We're both on Dallas. That's the one game this week that we're both on.
That is at 5 p.m. on Fox. And then the next game on Sunday, the first game of the day, is the New York Guardians versus the St. Louis Battlehawks. That's a -10 line. You have New York Guardians. I have the St. Louis Battlehawks. And then we have the DC Defenders, who are 8.5-point favorites against the LA Wildcats. And that's on FS1 at 6 o'clock. You have the Defenders. I have the Wildcats.
That's right. And a quick little side note on that Dallas-Seattle game. The line was -5. It's now -4. That doesn't scare me. I'm still going to take Dallas. They're giving me another point, or I'm giving away another point
I agree.
that I have to cover.
I think Dallas covers more than that.
Yeah, knock on wood. We'll see.
We'll
but you
see.
have it the other way. Or no, we have it together.
No, that's
right.
the only game we have
right.
together. Yeah, absolutely. So then now we're going to discuss what's the biggest event of the weekend, and we saved the best for last, obviously. And we're going to talk about Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2, the rematch, Saturday, February 22nd at MGM Grand Las Vegas. You can catch it on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Before the show started, we came in, and the weigh-in was actually happening. Mm-hmm. And the excitement that was just going on for just that, they had like so many people in between them. They didn't allow Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury to get face-to-face. And then all of a sudden, the weigh-in comes, and the official numbers for the weigh-in are our sugar honey iced tea moment of sports for today. And Marcus, give us the actual numbers. It was crazy.
It was absurd. I did see that.
Yeah, definitely a sugar honey iced tea moment. We got Wilder in at 6'7". We got Fury in at 6'9". Which gives them what, like a 2-inch?
Tyson is bigger, but the actual weight.
And their weight, 231 for Wilder and 273 for Fury.
Let me explain something to you.
A 42-pound difference?
Let me explain something to you. I didn't even know that was legal. Like, I had no idea that you can act. Let me explain something. That's definitely legal. My son, I love EJ to death. He's a little husky side child. That's like me hitting EJ. That's basically what that is. That's I think the size difference, like, it's just crazy.
Would have to be under the legal weight, which is what is the legal weight for him?
170 something, like 170. Yeah, like 170.
Have to be under. But then you have boxers like you go back like Butterbean. That was
Butterbean. Good name right there.
Butterbean was a Domino's police delivery guy. He was a pizza delivery guy. Butterbean.
I definitely want to point this fact out too. The reach is 83 for Wilder and 85 for Fury.
No, so it's actually longer for
Fury.
Yeah.
So Fury is he's younger, he has a longer reach, he's taller, and he has more weight.
And he's heavier.
He's up by 42 pounds.
Yeah, we know he's heavier.
But here's my point though, right? Wilder, he has more fights in than Fury. He's older, but he has way more fights in. He's way more toned. What do you think about that?
I mean, obviously, we talked about last show him being pretty much a physical specimen. But in boxing, especially in the heavyweight division, it's not always about size. It's about just how devastating you are in any given moment of the fight. We talked about Wilder can put you on your ass pretty much with one shot.
I'm still gonna go with Wilder, even though the weight is astronomical. Like, it's crazy. The weight, to me, the weight scares me more than anything else, because anybody who fights will tell you that type of weight weighs on you as the fight goes on, and that's what they weigh today. That's not what they weigh tomorrow. Tyson Fury can walk into that ring 15 pounds heavier than what he weighed at today.
Yeah. His last fight, he was like 10 pounds lighter.
He was 260 his last fight.
He's cutting weight to stay within a certain range, but that doesn't mean that he's going to stay that weight today, because they still have to eat, load up on food and carbs and drink, all that stuff has to get back into the system. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's, like I said, he's walking in 15 pounds heavier tomorrow than he is today.
I don't think that's going to make a difference, though. Wilder is definitely going to spin.
All right, do me a favor. Go out there and let a guy that's 50 pounds heavier than you hit you, and you tell me if it makes a difference.
I won't. I'm going to move out the way.
Yeah, so it will be interesting to see how he supports his weight throughout this fight. So he's around 15 pounds heavier in the second fight than he was in the first fight. And the first fight went all 12 rounds went the distance. So if this thing goes the distance again, how is that 15 pounds going to affect this second round? And as far as the betting lines, just wanted to update everyone. They haven't changed too much. They're still at minus 125 for the overall fight for Deontay Wilder, minus 105 for Tyson Fury. I saw one site that had Fury at plus 105, but it just depends on who you use.
Today was the first day where actually on social media we had a vote up, and I think the overall, it was like, 67-33, and everybody was going for Wilder. But I was actually pleased because, like I said in the last show, we were a heavily Wilder show. It seemed like that way. I saw some of the Fury fans actually come out and vote on social media for Fury.
There's a lot of people that's going for Fury.
No, of course. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a pure, and early in the ESPN piece, they showed how he's so talented to being so big that he can move so quickly out of the way of a punch. Yeah, he can dodge punches left and right. His head movement, his shoulder movement, his foot movement, all that stuff is so good. But in my opinion, I still think Wilder wins the fight.
The thing is that with these two guys, they both have the same fighting style. Like, they're both brawlers. They both heavy on the hooks, just a lot of heavy hitting punches. The both of them.
This is the only guy that Wilder's put on the ground that has gotten back up, correct?
Yes, correct.
Because Wilder's knockout percentage is 42 wins, 41 knockouts. It's a 95% knockout rate.
Yeah, everyone said when he got up in the 12th round, Tyson Fury, it was like a very big moment because they haven't seen someone really get knocked out and have a full 6 seconds where the ref was counting, and he just sprung right back up. It was actually astonishing to see him pop up from such a hard hit like that.
Cam, I was so excited about the weigh-in that I was wishing the fight was happening right after the weigh-in. I don't even want to wait till tomorrow. Like, I even had discussions before the show started. We were like, should we lead with this? Because that's how exciting that weigh-in was.
Yeah, I saw you on your feet during the IG Live video.
Like, it was nutty. I'm sitting there, I'm screaming. Pizza delivery guy comes in with the food, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. And I didn't believe that he was 42 pounds lighter than Fury.
That's, like we said, it's a pretty eye-opening difference. And shout out, you talked about the poll we had where it was 66%, 33%, 66%, 67%. Thank you, in Wilder's favor. But I want to shout out the people that have commented on our post who said the comments actually were more in Fury's defense, saying Tyson Fury was going to win by decision. So we're going to come into this show on Monday to do Monday's show, and we're really going to see. We might have to all eat crow because me and you both have Deontay Wilder, and I was actually hoping
all three of us.
I know, and I was hoping Marcus, when we dished it to him, I was hoping Marcus was going to say Tyson Fury because he could have came in on Monday if Fury won and sort of been the hero.
Well,
and had his moment.
Marcus does. Yeah, I was about to say Marcus does have Fury winning. Wilder winning by decision,
right?
Which is the best odds out of the whole fight.
I like to see Fury come in and really give his best here. That's what I'd like to see. And Wilder was injured that first fight.
I think Wilder wins in under 10 rounds.
You know what I'm saying? So both of them are coming in at their best game, but I like Fury to come in and show out.
I think Wilder wins under 10 rounds though.
Yeah, respect. Okay. The other thing I wanted to note, and this had me dying earlier on. I was watching Get Up this morning, and to be honest with you, something that I would rather see even more than this fight is Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas going at it. Did you catch any of that? The great historian of boxing, Teddy Atlas.
I respect the hell out of Stephen A. Smith, but I can't watch it.
Yeah,
The animation is just above and beyond. I respect him because Stephen A. Smith probably started when no one even knew who Stephen A. Smith was, but it's just too much for me sometimes with Stephen A. Smith.
I can get that. He can be a little too much at times. I liked him a lot more back in the day when he wasn't
I like
as
when
big.
he's melatonin. I like when he's like just regularly when he gets so animated like that. I'll just mute the channel and just watch his mouth move. Yeah. Like seriously, I'll just watch his mouth move. I respect what he does. He's great.
He's the GOAT. He's
the GOAT when it comes to that. Absolutely. But I'm just. I can't.
I'm telling you though, we're gonna post this video on the IG page. But it was Stephen A. and Teddy Atlas going back and forth. They're like peanut butter and jelly. They've done a few videos together that are just gold.
But here's my question. Teddy Atlas is a legend in boxing, an absolute legend in boxing. Where other than the point of debating, which Stephen A. is amazing at, where does Stephen A. Smith get off telling Teddy Atlas anything about boxing?
Yeah, I know. And that's funny that you say that because in that clip, you can see when Teddy's like, no, don't tell me. And Stephen A.'s face is like, wow, this guy's really going to. And then Stephen A. realizes what happened. And he was like, listen, I am your protege. He started giving more respect to Teddy. So it was funny to see him backtrack once he realized who he was speaking to.
Where does Stephen A. Smith get off saying anything relative to Teddy, other than his own opinion?
Right.
Anything relative to Teddy Atlas about boxing. That's like Stephen A. Smith telling Mike Tyson, I think you can't do this. Are you out of your mind?
Right, one of the best to ever do it. And in Teddy's corner, he's one of the best to ever do it at what he does. So it was funny. But that's Stephen A.'s personality. He knows that's what sells.
Yeah,
because we're sitting here talking about it right now for a reason.
It wouldn't be Stephen A. Smith.
That's his
Correct.
niche.
If it wasn't
that's
the great
his niche.
debater.
But back to the fight, because I don't want to take the attention off the fight. Back to the fight. The fight is going to be really exciting. I'm hoping that everybody on the team, in some way, shape, or form, puts it on IG, lets everybody know, says the story, whatever, this, that, and third. Tell them how you feel. Wow, who won? Whatever reaction. Get ready for Monday's show. We're going to talk about it, whatever, this, that, and third. It's going to be a great fight. Don't forget, you can watch it on ESPN Plus. It's Saturday, February 22nd. Wilder versus Fury 2, the rematch at MGM Grand Las Vegas.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm so
hyped for that.
I'm so excited. So this is going to conclude episode 6,
Emilio,
guys.
Emilio, wait, hold on. Before we wrap this up, where are we watching the fight?
I have a wife and 2 children, so I'll be at home snug up in my pajamas.
I'll see you at Bruise Room.
Bruise Room?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wait. No Bruise Room. No Bruise Room. Are they sponsoring us?
That's what I'm saying. So that's gonna wrap up
sponsorship for Bruise Room.
So that's gonna wrap up episode 6. Make sure you guys check out episode 7. Please, guys, do me a favor. Comment, subscribe, like, hit the notification button. Download us all on all platforms with the podcast. Make sure you hit the notification button on that so you can get up-to-date podcasts. Once again, Marcus Mack, appreciate you on the sound.
Yep.
Omar Blanco on the video. EJ, I love you. Cam, good job.
Thank you, sir.
We'll see you next week.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.